And I really do that. I do that each night. Knowing that all the past hopes in my heart, it's very happy. All the hopes.
Good morning. Can you guys hear me?
Hello, Kali?
Good morning.
Can you?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. All right. I can hear you guys.
Don't worry, Kali, we're not talking about you right now this time.
Only when we were muted.
What?
Are you sure? 'Cause I tripped outside coming in.
I'm sorry, that could be Miss Valerie then. Hey, Kali, yeah. I thought you're gonna be here this morning, sir. It's a board meeting, so you're gonna be here tomorrow or what?
Hi, Director John.
Okay. Yeah, okay, morning, Boston's good. Looking forward. Yeah.
We asked- had-
You're cutting off.
Also see, I want to see.
Sorry, am I cutting off?
Okay, not anymore. See, Dr. Mira, there's.
Dr. Durham, yeah.
Morning.
Morning, Dr. Durham, teacher. Hello, nice to see you. I read you a lot on the email, but comprendían, I never feel that. He responding, he's a good pointers, very good pointers. He got a lot more better pointers than your husband when he was the teacher rep. Yes, hello. Wherever you're ready, right, I hereby call to reconvene the FPA meeting that was last on February 6, 2026 due to a power outage. So now we're continuing again on our agenda as where we stopped. So roll call, please.
David Francis.
So the time is 9:04 a.m. and it's Wednesday, February 18th, here in the BOE conference room. To start off, we do a roll call first or
Antonio L. Borja,
Present.
Laura B. Mura. Here. Andrew L. Orsini.
President.
Mr. Chairman, you have all members present.
Right. Thank you, Ms. Val. Members, thank you so much again. This is our reconvening FPA committee from February 6th. And we will, of course, before we start up, Commissioner, if I may ask you to just introduce again your people that are here for this meeting, as far as your admin.
Sure.
Admin people, yeah.
Thanks, Chair. To my left is Associate Commissioner Eric. To his left is Dr. Bami, Senior Director for ARE. To Bami's left, in the back is Mr. Orsini, who is in for OCI. Director Susan Lorraine is out. And then here we have Miss Jackie. Jane, John is to my right. To his right is Lucretia from HR. And to her right is the top information. Head Start, very Head Start, and then we have Randy Joe and Lila in the corner.
Yeah.
And then we have some people online. I can. There are various other people online, so I can.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, all right. Just for the record, so before we start off today's meeting, I'd like to request the staff to do a summary of the items that took action on the last meeting of February 6th before the power outage. No?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, so the discussion under unfinished business, there was the board resolutions. A, B, which is disallowing micromanagement, waiver of any wrongdoing. This was acted on and it would be moved to the full board for discussion, further discussion and decision. There was a report on the federal fund status as well as the local funds. And the service recognition for Dr. Rizalina Liwag that was also discussed. It was pushed for the 20th, but it has been postponed to the 27th. Because that's the date that Dr. Liwag would be available with some of the Guam DOE members. The resolution to adopt SART coordinator SOPs is DOE policy. That was also approved and it would be moved to the board. Public Law 24-18. It was moved and seconded and will be included in the full board meeting tomorrow. And that's on the policy regarding child nutrition program procurement. FY 2026 Head Start, early Head Start budget revision, that was also discussed and approved. It will be going to the full board. Head Start, early Head Start retention incentive policy proposal. It has been moved and seconded and it will be included in tomorrow's school board meeting. The power died at 1:44 p.m. and it was recessed at 1:52 until this morning. Next item for discussion, we are now under new business, and it would be from number 9. So item number 9, 4-day school week for school year 26-27.
Yes, Valerie. Okay, thank you so much. So I'm just for the record that we just want to ensure that we're not in any violation of the Open Government Act. I just wanted to ensure that because our meeting was cut off short from the February 6th, we just want to reiterate the actions that took place now before starting off our continuation of the meeting. So welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here. And I think on number 9, under new business is the 4-day school week for 2026 to 2027 school year. I want to bring this to the attention, Commissioner, and to management that this proposal is a 4-day instructional for students out there, both elementary, middle school, and high school. But in the interim of that is for basically our teachers. And I take it that some people out there were asking at the time before the February 6th meeting, and then even after that. And I said, yes, this is still going to be in compliance with the 180-day instructional that we are required by law, but also to keep in mind that the weekly work of everyone, and I'm gonna go down on the category of who is qualified for this, would be mostly for the teachers, instructors, and teacher aides. And this is the reason why I'm proposing, and this is for the fact that the people that are going to be affected by this, should the board decide to implement this for the next school year, is for the reason that we want to avail of something that had occurred in other jurisdictions that help our teachers, especially right now with the morale issue that we have and with this budgetary situation we're going through with our economic climate. I think this is going to entail a lot of more emphasis from our good people out there. Keep in mind that those that are not teachers, instructors, and teacher aide, they will continue to work on that particular Monday of that week. But everyone else will fall under the 4-day from Tuesday to Friday. And I want to put that in light with what we're trying to do here. The other thing, again, that I also like to look at on regards to this proposal, and if it need be that, it would take our across the scores of students to go even higher, so be it. That's what I'm looking for. And we need to be mindful. So with this proposal, we're going to extend the school year weekly and reduce a little bit of the, what do you call this, the actual what calendar we're following with the summer session. And that will still meet the requirement by law. I'm just saying that I think teachers need a little bit more time to get things around, catch up things that I've seen were in the classroom setting. And especially now that we've gone through this thing as far as the austerity and everything, I think this is going to be something to do. So my proposal right now on this issue, I'd like to recommend that a survey be done out there on the entire district for elementary, middle school, and high school, Rota, Tinian, and Saipan as well, and also to find out where the sentimental value of our people out there is. We need to look at that. And I think that if I'm taking it correctly that I'm seeing right now, this is something that is going to be very supportive. It's going to be supported. And I think that if anything else that we would like to hear from other stakeholders or the parents, we need to do that. I suggest that because ARE and OCI are together to spearhead this thing, I'd like to see that they can come up with some kind of a simplified survey on this regarding this matter. So I think it's incumbent that we get this. And I'm hoping that we can get this going as early as possible before the end of the school year, so we can see how we're going to objectively approach this. No, Commissioner, that's my take on this.
Yeah, first, I really want to get clarity on exactly what it is we're here. I understand you want, sounds like you want 4-day instructional. And it sounds like you're saying that the teachers need that prep time. So that is the reason why we should have a 4-day week. But you're also asking us to do a survey,
Right.
Unity and all the stakeholders on what their sentiment is when it comes to a 4-day work or a 4-day instructional week. And you're looking at the next year, not this year. This year is.
No, not this year. No. We're already ongoing. Yeah.
The law says that we don't even have to get 180 days because or the government for 180-day fluid instructional calendar. The law still is 180-day instructional calendar per year, right? It's just this year is an exception to that one. So I wanted to get very exactly on, but can I get, I don't want to respond to that. From your teacher perspective, what do you think all this means so that we can then develop and craft an instrument for that survey that you're looking for? And I can ask my folks who are gonna be crafting this instrument to also ask questions so we can get clarity and that we don't go back and forth on this. Because this is a huge change that it sounds like we're approaching. And any huge transformational change like that is gonna affect a lot of the strategies that we already have in place when it comes to just the way we've been, crafting our calendar. So I understand, and I get it. If that's what the board wants, we'll do what we can, but we need clarity on exactly what it is that we're getting after.
Let me put in addition to that, Commissioner, if I may, the survey would be more simplified by the general ruling of stating, right, whether the teachers would like to have a 5-day week and a longer summer, or they want a 4-day week and a little bit shorter summer. This is the two things that needs to be looked at. And then I'm thinking right now that in line with that, especially with our economic climate in the CNMI and of course our budgetary approach to this as far as doing, but I want to be clear that the teachers, because they're all teacher aides and instructors, we're all under contract. So this is not going to diminish the so-called required 40 hours a week. This is going to still maintain for them. We're just giving them the opportunity to kind of like fix what is going on right now with what's happening, stress and every kind of things that's going on right now with our people out there. But at the same token for our students. And I think that if we try to impose this coming for the next school year and we look at how things are developing, we can see whether this kind of thing is really working for the system. And especially in line, if things are not in front with what we're doing with our central government as far as collection, it's very easy not to adjust our so-called calendar days for our teachers, teacher aides, and instructors. This is the thing that I'm pointing out. Now, like I said, these are the only grouping that I'm going to say that this proposal will be in effect for those. And this is where we're talking about inside the classroom setting. So let's look at this, Commissioner, please. I think that I reviewed that, putting together a very simplified survey out there and getting it going throughout the district to see how people feel about it. And if the consensus of a majority of people agree to that, so be it. Let's do it. Because I'm thinking right now that if it works in jurisdictions that are implementing this right now, I don't see why not here to see the mind. I don't see why not. And then I'm thinking that this will also look at the trend of student dropouts, decrease in attendance, in truancy and so forth. Everything is going to be in play with this proposal. So it's something to think about. I even kind of thought about when I was reading this article about this 4-day, and then I kind of came to my mind about even the time. When do we start school? I mean, we're so used to this old clamor of 7:30, which is really for the entire government, but it doesn't mean we have to follow 7:30. If we have to start work or school at 9 and it's going to make things better, so be it. Other places like Japan, they got a high rating of student outcome in their so-called data of, their scores and everything. And it gives them the laxity of trying to catch up and maintain things. I think this is something to look into. And I bring this up in the forefront because I think that it's not been brought up, but I'm thinking that it should. And we need to look at this and see how this is going to work. And like I said, as our funding of local fundings go about, we can adjust with what the schedules we have now, at least for the classroom, that students the teachers, the teacher aide, and the instructors. These are the primary groups that I'm looking as this proposal is concerned. I don't want to do it across for everyone, no, because it's not what it is, but yeah, we need to have like the administration of all the schools continue operation on Mondays to maintain and prepare things as the school comes about. But I'm thinking right now for all the teachers, teacher aides and instructors, this will somehow prevail, making something do with what they have out there. And mind you, I can put my my optimism on this, that once that survey is out, I won't be surprised of the outcome because a lot of people will be supportive of this, Commissioner. So
Yes, sir. And,
something to look at, no?
yeah, I'm not against it.
No, I know you're not against, but
Yeah, and I actually did reach out to CCSSO last year for their exemplar districts that are actually going on a full day. So we have that data. Just use that analysis.
yeah. And the main thing too, Commissioner, that keep in mind, especially with the present foregoing financial constraints that we're going through now, this will be almost like a morale booster for our good employees that are in that area of instructing our students. This is something that nobody, I thought, and when I came across this article that I read, and it showed something to me, I said, I think maybe we need to bring this up in our system, in our district, to kind of consider and look at it. So like I said, let's do first with the survey, and let that, I don't know how you're gonna direct or conduct, but I do suggest that OCI and ARE are involved with this as well, and also with the administration, I know.
Seek the support of our teacher rep to help us.
Yeah, okay. Teacher rep, sorry, you have, I thought after saying everything, you don't have question, you have question, okay, go ahead.
So, like the commissioner, just off the top of my head, it doesn't sound too bad, except it wasn't clear whether you said teachers wouldn't be working on that, let's say it's the Monday. So in essence, what's happening to the prep time? Because if we have a 4-day work week, it's gonna be like what's happening now with the students' full instructional hours and the teachers. I mean, I think you might look at teacher burnout, because I'm wondering about prep time. So prep time has been pretty much eliminated or lessened right now with the 8-hour instructional days for every other day for the students, and still no prep times for the teachers. And I know that that's impacting the morale of the teachers now. So it's not clear to me how prep time is going to be embedded into this work week. So I think that even if we sent out a survey, and with the way it sounds right now, I think teachers will have a lot of questions. That I don't think we're ready to send out a survey until we have some of the details ironed out. Just like we saw in that letter you shared with the board, and then also with the teacher lead group and numerous research out there. Prep time is important for teachers to feel confident going into the classroom, to feel energized, to feel ready for the kids, and to impact instruction optimally.
I'm not in any way, don't get me wrong, that to eliminate prep time. I'm assuming that some schools have that implemented right now within. I think there's some schools that do that. I think primarily mostly the elementary, but yeah, prep time is important. I just don't want to take sound that I'm taking that away, but I'm saying that because of the 4-day week, and like I said, nobody's going to be deducted the 40 hours. It's going to still be 40 hours because by the contract basis that we have, what we're trying to do is extend the school curriculum a little bit more into the summer, meeting the so-called public law of 180 hours required by law, which we're not going to violate. However, to ensure that we have that in place for our teachers, instructors, and teacher aides, that will be a very big jump as far as, and I'm hoping that that will show much in the improvement of, instruction and key management of what they call the morale issue that we have right now that we're facing, especially with our economic situation of our budgetary constraints. So this is something that I'm proposing for those groups of people out there that are looking to consider. So like I said, with the survey that we're gonna do, it would deal with 5 day week instruction versus a longer summer, or a 4 day week instruction, but a little bit shorter summer. Give it what it is, but that's where this is at right now. So like I said, I think it's important that we do that survey as quickly as possible, get out the response from our affected groups out there that are in one way or another in line with this instruction for our classroom. And like I said, with prep, there's no way of thinking of ever taking that out. I'm hoping that management, as far as the key principals, will provide some input to that and tell us where this is going as far as this 4 day week. So mainly, this is what it is right now that we're doing. And I'm proposing this now since we're at really almost the start of the year. And hopefully we can see where we're going with this. We can try to align this now for the next new school year, which is 2026, 2027. If I'm correct, right?
Can I recommend something, sir? Let me discuss this with KM,
Okay,
our next KM meeting. We'll write a letter back to the board about what we believe the facts are gonna be, some assumptions. And then from there, we'll go and start drafting surveys. From there,
Yeah.
when we get more clarity and guidance from the board, because otherwise, I know for a fact that we cannot extend 40 hours into the summer because that contract between someone that discussed with my team. They have some ideas to kind of get more clarity on this, and then when we get clarity, we can do a sample issue doing surveys, just to get the sentiments, as you mentioned, from the stakeholders. In a way of trying to kind of, address this issue, as you mentioned, economic and all that, but we definitely need clarity before we send out an instrument, no? So would that work?
yeah, and in fact,
Now I'll invite our teacher rep.
Mr. Rep, you have to be part of that, committee or, conferencing. But also to keep in mind too, that it was founded too, that jurisdictions that have this, because of the regular lengthy summer, it's almost like the student or the child has lost a little bit of the what do you call that? The drive until when the school year opens. So we need to shorten that summer for them. I think it's going to help our students so that they, it's like a car engine. You keep running it, but if you don't run it, the battery's going to die first, and then your transmission is going to come to a fault. So it's almost like that. I'm just comparing. Okay, I'm not saying that's the accurate acronym of that, but I'm just saying that that's how I see this. So it is something that has never been done in our district. And it's something to look at and let's see. And if it is what it is, that is gonna improve the overall rating and scores of our students out there, so be it. It's got my blessing. Let's do it. But the only way we're gonna do it is to look at it and make it happen. If we're just gonna talk the talk but not walk the walk, then you know what I'm saying? It's never gonna be achievable. But if we try to look at it very inclusively to what we see and how it's going to be done, then I think it's going to work, right? Okay. Yes, Ms. Valerie.
Sorry, Member Torum, Member Borja.
Oh, yeah, Member Board. Yeah, of course, the vice. In fact, I didn't mean to keep them out. Yeah, you have or a colleague as Member Torum.
Yeah, it does sound real nice, right? Having a 4 day work week, and I agree with our teacher rep that prep time's important, right? And we'll have, no matter what, I know that we'll have to, even if there was a 4 day work week, teachers don't come in for 1 day, but knowing teachers, they will come in on a day they're not supposed to come in. Who would be liable for that, right? If something were to happen to them, if they're here or if they're in campus outside of their regular time. So that's something we need to think about. Also, aside from the survey, I think the commission needs to go back and do a deeper dive on this. Pros and cons financially, pros and cons operationally. And then you also have to look at the pros and cons of a longer school year, yes, less extra days off in the week, but a longer school year with burnout on the students and the teachers, and then also a shorter summer where we need to look into students not having enough time to be kids, not having enough time to have their free times. Because I think there's there's like research out there showing that kids just need to be kids sometimes, and that is part of their growth, their ways of growing up, is to be kids when they need to be kids and before they become adults and all of that. So that's something to look into. But yeah, I think we need to really make sure that we look into all angles before we push this to the full board and all of that. So that's my take on it.
All right, colleague, thank you so much for your input. And yes, those are going to be highlighted to be considered. So any more teacher rep? Yeah.
I just wanted to, since we were talking about this year and the 8 hours, I was wondering because parents have come up to me and asked why graduation dates had to change on the calendar with that 8 hour. The other full instructional days. Why did graduation dates have to change? Parents have come to me saying that they already had plans with their kids.
Do we change graduation dates?
It's moved. School reps requested that the cluster schools not be based on the same day, for instance, Chacha and Kaka not to have the same graduation dates.
That was
Because it's
the
part of
reason.
So it's less than the principal reps, which is why some dates were changed. So then the parents should go talk to their principals. Is that what it's?
They're the ones who requested. Because within the cluster, they want to make sure that their parents are given enough time to move from one ceremony to the next. In case they have kids in multiple schools.
Advise the parents. Thank you.
Can we make sure that that is discussed at the next parent summit? About, the graduation question, dates question.
Sorry, can you repeat the reason for the dates why the dates were moved? It kind of broke up.
The only ones that were changed are the ones that have like within the clusters, the principals. The principal reps through the principals were asking, or the principals through the principal reps were asking to not schedule on the same day promotions and graduations because they may not have time to move from one ceremony to the next, right? I know it's different in Tinian because they're right there. They go to the same ceremony in the morning and then they go to the ceremony. And did Tinian have any issues with that? Tinian was no change.
My question is my question to that, right, is how much what's the difference between numbers, right, of parents that are asking to move it versus parents that are set, I don't know. It is there a large amount of parents that are asking to not put it in the same day? I'm just wondering because if I was a parent and already have families coming in, right, from off island and all of that,
Yeah.
planning a tight schedule, right, might be an issue.
Right, I get your point, sir. I went by what the principals were requesting. Did not know, and we can ask the same thing with how many parents are concerned about the move in the schedule, based on that, so. Again, and the calendar was signed, and that's what we pushed out, and maybe that's where we're getting some of this feedback from, in the change in the dates, but.
Since we're talking about graduation dates also, Commissioner, I want to bring up the fact that as a board member for 7 years, I've been attending all these activities of promotional and in the middle school and high school graduation. So maybe it is something to look at, to consider, because there's parents out there that have multi-students in the various levels, right? And I see where that's coming from, right? But maybe the current setting that we have, where we have what do you call that? Middle school promotion in the morning, and then
supposedly a high school graduation in the afternoon. I gotta admit, man, as a board member, I mean, yeah, I do sit down, I don't even talk much, but it takes a lot out of my butt to be sitting down on a long period of ceremonies night. So I'm taking that maybe you should also look at the fact of, maybe in a week, maybe all the, so-called, middle school graduate, promotion that takes place, and then maybe the following week, high school. The only exception to the rule here is our outside island road and Tinian because of the fact that, you know, they're out there and they got one high school and one middle school. So that might be something to look at and see how we can revise this to be more acceptable to most people out there and maybe see how we can work that out, I know. And I'm only talking as a board member, okay? I'm not graduating or anything, but I'm just saying that's something there to look at because that's very to me, it's very taxing, especially here in Saipan with all the middle schools and the high school. It's just what I say, it's really takes a toll on me. So I just wanna, you know, put my 2 cents in there to consider for the fact for board members that do want to participate. I mean, I'm not saying to do favoritism on the board, but I could see now where the parents are on this. So I sympathize for that for the parents, I know. So if it's something that you could delve into, Commissioner, and hopefully get back with the committee and to what regards we can see for maybe I'm not too sure, but we can still what do you call that? Make a change for this coming school year for the graduation and promotion dates that we are looking at right now. Because that I think that's already been approved, right? But
Right, yeah, so for next school year,
Yeah.
we can do better.
Yeah.
And all that, you're right, there's a, you know, everybody has their.
yeah. So
Sentiments about it. I
yeah,
remember thought it was, this is my third graduation coming up and, didn't think it was an issue, but
Yeah.
that was brought up, I thought, okay, we can look at that and make that change now. From there, it's opening up a bit more spots, now everybody has their say and, you
right.
know, what, many ones. Right, but, we'll go back
Yeah.
and discuss this with the team.
We're gonna
Better come up with something.
Because I even talked with the vice chair, Anthony Bersinas, regarding the possibility that he'd like to also attend the you know, graduation and promotional here in Saipan as well, not only just in Rhode Island and Tinian, but at least here in Saipan. So that's something to look at, to, you know, consider, I know, guys. Okay? So Commissioner, I expect something coming back from you on the next meeting about this. Okay. All right, that's enough for number 9. We're gonna move down to number 10, Title I, Site-Based Decisive Team. I was given the impression and I was notified of this where Title I requires some kind of a somewhat team that is in place because of the schools that are empowered to use funding for this Title I. But yet, in line with the actual law, it says even further that this team will be also to advise and assist the school principals and even the hiring possibly of the school principals as far as mitigating the process of Title I funding being used. So I'm right now on the question, Commissioner, whether is this being followed to the T by the, you know, the grant program that we're getting? And if not, where are we at on this? I mean, I just want to be open and clear.
Yes, I talk about the contract currently as its victim. And figure out what it is that we're looking out in this contract. I read on the contract.
Provide more fun.
What I was given was basically the fact that, in fact, I might have to go back into, but I'll send that to you. But in the law, the language of the federal law, it says that this so-called the committee for each school, and it comprises stakeholders, parents, some support staff, teachers like that. And this is the group that will be advising, going through each school principal in terms of the Title I program being implemented there in that respective school. So I take it that I've not heard, I've not seen. So that's why I'm bringing this up to the forefront here in this committee. And to also make sure that all our existing grant programs that are in line, we got to make sure that we are following what the requirement of the law is stating for us to do. Because if not, then we're violating the grant itself in its request to whatever it is. So not just this Title I, but all other grants that we need to look at. And I want to be sure and certain that we are following to what is required, because the assumption out there is that we do have, but yet to find out from some schools, they're not aware of this site-based think tank team that is required by the grant to allow this kind of so-called, integrated collaboration with the school principal. So this is where it's at right now. So I'm assuming that we're not following this. If that's what it is by federal law. So I'm not trying to get on anybody's nerve. Don't get me wrong. I just want to be certain that if that is what the law is saying, then we need to comply, because then we're violating the so-called requirement. I know.
Perhaps maybe after the meeting.
Yeah, I could share with you. Yeah, no, okay, that's okay, no? Right? Yeah. And this is in suspect to working with the school principals. In fact, even when a vacancy and a school principal comes in, this group or this site-based decision-making body has a part also under Title I's requirement that they can put an input to that individual being appointed as a principal. I'm not saying it's taking away the authority of the commissioner or anything like that, but the fact that they should be a part of that perspective of helping out the school further, especially with the funds that they're receiving with these Title I teachers that are aligned or stationed in the respective schools. So this is where this is at. So I'm hoping that next meeting we could get back some data or input to that and see where we're at, because we need to be following. And I'm in line with this issue about Title I, all the other programs. Ms. Shea, please ensure that we are in compliance, we are following. Because if this is what it is, that it's not, then I could imagine maybe other programs out there that we are not following it to the requirement of the fee of the grant awarded to us. So I just want to make sure, no? And that's basically what it is. So that's why I brought this to the table again in the forefront. So hopefully we can get something in back, Commissioner, to this. More detail and more, whatever data is required to have this done, right? Okay? All right. Members, any other questions to this? Title I? Yeah, I mean, I was strongly too when I was brought this to my attention. I said, hey, we're following it, but then to check some school principals, they're not even aware of this. So I think where we're at, I said, oh my goodness, we need to check on this. Okay, Commissioner, if I may, all right, any other questions, members, teacher rep? In fact, I think teacher rep, you should be involved in this site base at your respected school too, because it comprises dealing with the school principal as far as the program is concerned, right, for Title I teachers, right? Okay, now we're down to number 11, Micronesian Islands Forum Regional Education Summit. Commissioner, do you like to?
This is something that Chair Fogan and I have been on, trying to invite region folks from the region. It's part of an initiative under the other higher regional council of educators who wanted to have this, and they asked for sci-fi cinema to host it. So we've been coordinating with this. I have Donna as I think the lead for this. Is Donna, and as far as the funding for it, nothing really from PSS other than to kind of garnish CNMI support through the legislature. They have some ways to support it, and some other non-governmental agencies are out there within the region that I wanted to support this summit. And it's due to happen at the end of April is what we're planning on.
April of this year. So I take it, Commissioner, that anything good for a power of a gathering for educators, right? I got nothing against it. My concern right now is the fact that the PSS supposedly, the way I see it right now, is assuming the lead on this, but I'm taking it in total. If it's going to be Saipan, CNMI to host this thing, I think it's incumbent that we also invite NMC and NMTech involved, because this is a community thing. This is not just PSS.
No, I understand. They are.
Yeah. Okay, and I take it, so well, my concern right now for the committee is that if it's involves some kind of expenditure funding of sort, then we need to know. We need to know this before we even say agreeing to go with this, because right now I know our situation with our budgetary constraints that we're going, I'm very what do you call that, considerate of that, and if we're not able, then let's just admit, we're not able to make any kind of funding, so to speak.
Power to be spent for this.
Right, yeah, okay. Okay, so you're gonna get back again on this one more, Commissioner, no, as far as the summit? And this will be in April of this year, right? Okay. Okay, all right. Members, any other questions to that, summit? Hopefully we're gonna get invited too, no, Commissioner, the board, or that thing does take place. Okay, all right, okay, thank you, All right, moving along, if no other questions, members, number 13, the CLO report number 2026-1901. Illustrious Ms. Elon would give us, no,
Good morning, everyone. For 2026-1901 with 13 candidates. Submitted and completed all certification of procedure. 4 for basic 1, 4 for basic 2, 1 for standard, 2 for professional, and 2 for instructor.
okay.
As far as adjustment to that, this is the.
There's no certification, salary adjustment.
It's just informative
This is
information
for retention.
for you, okay? Okay, members, any question? Motion to approve the presented CLO report as presented?
I move to approve the CLO report number 2026-19-01 as presented.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mira.
Second the motion.
Second, all right, Vice, colleague, thank you very much. There's a motion to move for approval, and call for the vote of that,
Vice Chair Antonio L. Borja,
Yes.
Laura Mira,
And then
Andrew L. Orsi.
again.
Mrs. Chairman, all members voting.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Val, for that, members. Okay, number 13, survey to the principals regarding our COE upcoming evaluation. Maybe I'll just go ahead and start off since the commissioner's evaluation, second evaluation is coming up, and hopefully tomorrow at our special board meeting. I wanted to think of giving out this each various school principals in the district to kind of like give us, or at this moment, at this time, the committee, but I think for the full board to consider this survey, whether we could look at it prospectively, that it's part of the commissioner to consider his evaluation. And meaning to say, that if we think about it, the commissioner deals with the school principals on almost a day-to-day. As for the board, I gotta admit, we're part-time. We only meet the commissioner during committee meetings, board meetings, and school function activities. So that doesn't say that we have much to deal with the commissioner. Yes, we have the responsibility as far as the contract required by between us and the commissioner in terms of his employment as the superintendent or commissioner of this our district of a public school system. So in line with this, there is a draft survey to the school principals. I'm hoping, Commissioner, that you were provided that, but also on the same token, it was brought again to my attention whether should central key management, certain key management people are given also an evaluation for the commissioner. So I take it that if this is what the board wants, or we should accept it, if we do, then it would be in line that we separate both the principal's total eval on the commissioner and as likewise with central. Because these are the individuals or the groups that are out there that deal on a more likely a day-to-day review, Commissioner. I mean, I'm being honest. So I like to know what is the census out there of people feeling about you as continuing as the next, again, for your third year as administrator of the school system?
My thoughts, just my thoughts, my personal thoughts on this. Board was elected by the people. And the board, according to the law, says that, or regulation, the board hires, evaluates, retains, dismisses the Commissioner of Education, who is charged to be responsible for the entire state level education as well as the entire district, right? There's one district. I, as a leader and a student of leadership, I agree that feedback from subordinates is always very important. But feedback from subordinates is not based to the evaluation and the performance of the leader being evaluated by the people who employ the leader. Yes, we can use that feedback. What I'm afraid of is if we open this, and I have nothing against my folks to tell me how I'm doing. I really want to know. I want them to tell me. I always seek their opinions, their advice, and their feedback on performance. In fact, when I do my one-on-one with them, I make it turn around to where they tell me how I'm also establishing a good relationship with them. So that's good. But I don't want the board to weigh all of their feelings because sometimes the decisions that I make that are important and are rightfully made may not be popular by the subordinates. Just for the mere fact that there's this leader to subordinate relationship that could also be hindered based on decisions. And if the board wishes to use that as weight to evaluating, not me as commissioner, but any commissioner, I think that's not the right move, right? There is an instrument called a 360 in the leadership world where, you know, you have several people tell you how you're doing as a leader. That's not based on your evaluation and your performance, other than the fact that the leader could then improve upon it more than it is to be recorded as part of their, right, performing or lack thereof performing in that period, if that makes sense. That's how I see it, right? So I'm not against folks telling me how I'm doing as a commissioner. I want them to tell me. I want the principals to tell me. But please don't, the board, I'm asking the board not to use that as the weight. You are the one who's supposed to evaluate me based on my performance. And if you can't see what I'm doing, then, I mean, I'm sorry, it should be better maybe in showing you what I'm doing, but that's just my take on that. Thank you for allowing me to.
Thank you for your input there, Commissioner, and I just want to also let you know too that I know my
Responsibility and the law that requires me to, as far as bringing you on board, as well as the other 4 board members that are elected. I don't think you should take this in a way that this will misconstrue your total evaluation. I think this is just going to give the board a little bit side of what we think as far as your performance, as far as administrator of the entire system. In my own volition of human resource as a professional, it takes one-to-one. Working with your peers, with your so-called co-workers and everyone, how you relate, how you work with, and how you deal. But in the instance of this is your decision-making overall. You have that authority by the authority vested in us as board. And that's why I always make it clear to my colleagues. Not one board member can make that power decision. It's the board, the board. Even if you're the chairman, that is a ceremonial, what do you call that? Attainment of an official recognition, but that does not give you the sovereign authority. That authority is rested with the full board. And I want to make it clear, Commissioner, that you're right. And I want to be clear and clarifying with you that this is not the intent of taking that survey. We just want to see exactly how your relation is out there with your so-called subordinates. We want to hear. Like I said earlier, you're the one that deals with these folks out there on a one-to-one. Anderson is not here. I only come here when we have to meet for board meetings, committee meetings, but I'm not here on a day-to-day. I'm sorry, but I just want to know whether you as an appointed leader is in actually working with the people that's below you. That are, you guys are in cohesive unison work with each other. And if there is something to that, I like to know. And that's why we're gonna have our evaluation on you tomorrow. And I was thinking that this survey, even itself, I even posed it. I said, this is a committee level instruction of duty, having the board staff to do this, conduct this so-called anonymously survey for all the school principals and the key management. And that's going to give us a guide. It's not the board now, but because my other colleagues feel that we should have my other members being part of this to include, no problem. We're going to decide this tomorrow's board meeting. But I'm just saying that the survey itself is not going to be totally inclusive of your total evaluation. No, it's just a guide near of like somewhat like a report card or monitoring kind of thing that we can see. And I get it. Now, if it tells me too that 95% of the people out there, your people, are not in line with what you are, then there's something wrong, right? I could take it if it's 50-50, maybe, hey, even for surveys out there that they give a -5 or 10% off. But if it's incongruent with everything that I see, then something tells me something is wrong. And I'm taking it at that as my professional level as an HR specialist. So I deal with a lot, Commissioner, even in my time with dealing with employee issues and management. And I even deal with lawyers. Believe me, most of the lawyers here in the island, so I know them on a personal basis because I deal with them. So I'm just saying, Commissioner, that don't take it defensively, that this is again, no, it gives us an idea too. And some of the questionnaires that was given to you pertains to what I'm actually trying to see here too, how your working is. I mean, you know, if you're a real nice guy and you're good to everyone, then I would assume everybody is the same in response to the survey that, hey, Dr. Lawrence Camacho is a great guy, good. I'll take it for what it's worth. But if it's the other way around, then everybody, and including your people in the central, tell us, otherwise then Houston, we have an issue here.
Yeah, couple of things, and okay, you know.
Yeah.
Personally,
Yeah,
I want to say I don't care,
yeah.
but you can go right ahead and certainly, anybody, right, serve the community, I'm just saying that, technically, you know, to evaluate anybody, not just commissioner, but anybody, it should be based on the performance and the outcome, right?
Sure.
We'll talk about it tomorrow and I'll defend all the outcomes and the results that I think we've delivered since my taking on the leadership position, and we'll discuss that.
Okay.
That's for us to discuss. Now, if the community wants to know, I am also been getting a lot of good feedback from the community myself, right? On the same people that we are talking about, saying that things are going right. So I'm assuming that things are going right, but sure, survey them and see if you want to. But maybe what you want really is what the board wants or should have from places that I've been in leadership position is a command climate survey or leadership climate survey. Is the leadership toxic? Is the leadership conducive and accommodating to the work environment and making the people that work in the environment thrive and produce the results that is expected by the organization in accomplishing the mission? That I think not from a personal to personal, because when it comes to personal, in this position that I'm in right now, my philosophy is it's not a popularity contest. I am not here to be popular. I'm here to do the right thing. If I'm doing the right thing, that's all that matters, I think. That's all that should matter to the board, not the popularity of the commissioner, with whether or not he's nice or not nice to people. That's a totally different position somebody could aspire to, but not this position. It's about doing the right thing and making sure that we produce results for our students. The teachers are performing highly and the organization is meeting its objectives. That's, again, you know, the learning, right, and the teaching.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you for that. And I'll just be clear again that this is not.
There's no basis on against you or what. This is just a gauge to see But the actual survey that we're trying to do here is just merely to just give the board a guide. Sort of a picture of what exactly are we looking at as far as for working relations with, oh, you should work this down there. That's all I'm saying. Like you said, if it is what it is, it's not a popularity contest, which I board members should handle that because the people put me here. But I'm just saying for you, you don't need that composition of a popularity contest. What I'm saying is that you have to make sure that we have to be in line with what you're doing, how you're doing it, and what's the outcome. And that's basically it. I'll take it for what it's worth. But as far as doing that survey on the site to be the gauge of the board to consider, no, that I hear you. But I'm just saying that in terms of how the outcome of the surveys, if every principal and every key management has a 50-50 new, then that tells me that there's something there. But if one way or the other, that the 90% are going this way, then that kind of is alarming for me because then that tells me there's something there in your so-called workings of how you deal with your people out there, your management, your subordinates. That says a lot. So I keep it like that. Members, do you have any other questions for the commission?
Yes, member.
Oh, member, Vice, colleague Torum, you have the floor. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with what some of the commissioner mentioned about feedback and all of that, right? Being a one-to-one thing, being going back and asking his staff what can he correct and what needs to or what he's doing wrong that he needs to fix. That's something that he needs to do, right? Because as the commissioner, we hire him and all of that. Other than that, I think maybe TB can correct me if I'm wrong, that the board can decide on how to weigh his evaluation. But that's another discussion, I think, amongst the board members. One of my issues is one of the questions, and I was looking at it just now, is the final question, right? And my only issue is if we're not going to use this document to weigh the commissioner's performance is the final question, which is should the commissioner continue his role? And I don't think that's a proper question that should be in the survey. That's a question between us board members, if the commissioner should stay in his role. Another issue with asking survey to survey the commissioner's performance is he could be a great guy, but he could be a bad leader, or he could be a really great leader, but he could be too forward, and so forth. So there's a lot of issues with something like this, where somebody doesn't like the commissioner and just says, "Oh, I don't like the guy. I'm gonna give him a bad review," and all of that. Or he's not a good commissioner, but somebody likes him. He would be like, "Okay, I like the commissioner. He lets me get away with things. He's my buddy. I'm gonna say he's a really great leader." Just some of those issues that might come up. And then also we're asking the principals to do these surveys and his key management, which are not our employees. So I think that we should go back as a board, to full board, and say we want to make this mandatory as an evaluation so we can weigh it or not, use it in our evaluation and all that. But I think we should go back as a full board and say this is what we want, this is what we should do, and all of that. So those are my thoughts.
Okay, very good, colleague. Teacher Rep, you have any addition? Yeah, I hear you, colleague, and I agree with the points that you pointed out. And like I said earlier to the commissioner, that the ultimatum decision, it rests with the 5 elected voting members, yourself and myself and the other 3. And if I was to take this in heart, on the first year that the commissioner started, we kind of like a little bit put a buy on him because it's his first year trying to get around things, how things are moving. But the second year is already occurred from the first year, meaning that he should already establish and had already set himself in what he's done already for the second year. So this is where I'm coming from as far as what we're trying to do to embrace the commissioner for seeing how he's objectively working with his people that are below him. Like I said, I even pointed out to the staff, I said, well, if there's one person that I don't want to be part of this survey of the commissioner is the associate commissioner, Mr. Eric McGovern. Because then that in itself would be construed to be a conflict of interest. Because the two work hand in hand, being that it is. Maybe for Dr. Bonnie here, who's a senior director, that would be somewhat different with Associate Commissioner McGovern. So that's what I'm saying, that the parties involved that are going to be doing this, and I think we're going to do the evaluation tomorrow for the commissioner by the full board. But in essence, if the full board agrees to putting out that survey just for the sake of wanting to know more on the commissioner's dealings on a day-to-day, then we need to look at that. I like to look at that and see whether that is really what it is. And of course, I agree with Commissioner that he's not here for a popularity contest, not like us board members, but with him working here, we need to ensure that what the mission and objective of his duties is being met and in line with what the board expects out of him. So that's where I stand. So I think tomorrow we would bring this up for the full board to consider, but still we're not going to hold back the evaluation of the commissioner as required by his contract with the full board. So that in itself, it requires us to evaluate commissioner on a year to year at the end of the year. Where is he at and how is he doing? So that's mainly what it is. Like I said, board will have the ultimate, decision on that as far as the evaluation or total evaluation of the commissioner. So Commissioner, I hope that rest assured you your pointings of that. I hear you. But again, like I said, it's nothing against the basis against you in any way. It's just to give us a little line too of what's going on so that we could probably in your evaluation, which I have thoroughly read, I'll be honest with you, I'm prepared. I got notes left to write on all the questions that you answered, but I want to be certain that these are the things that I'm hearing from your response in the evaluation of the board is giving versus what I'm hearing out there as far as that. So like I said, if it's a 95% that this is the way everyone is going on you, then I will accept that. But if it's a 50-50, then I will be a little bit, hesitant to accept in full gratitude what the outcome is. But like I said, this is not going to be the deterrent of your full evaluation. Like I said, the board will look through this. And mind you, I will do my best to see fairness for you as far as HR specialist, because I understand the makings of dealing with peer review and everything like that. So I'm in on this, no? Okay. No other questions, members? Nothing? Commissioner, you okay?
Sir, as a professional, I say not you, but the board, let it do what it wants.
Okay. All right, Commissioner.
And I will, do whatever.
All right.
I have no issues. I'm not here to, again, be popular or anything like that. I'm here to do the right work. I came all the way here to serve our people, right? And if that's not what the board agrees on, I'm doing that, so I'll try it out tomorrow. But at this point in time, I will follow my sword to say every day I've come to work professionally and fight for the right thing.
All right, Commissioner, great. Nice to hear that, everybody. Thank you, Commissioner. With that, this item, we would like to present this to the full board for consideration and attention to them. Not to say that we're going to move pushing it, but we want to see also on the line of the other members how they feel about this. So we'll bring this up. No, okay, colleague Toram, you're okay with that?
Yeah, with that, motion to bring this to the full board for discussion and a decision.
Do you want to make that a motion, or do you just want to just have this go slip in for tomorrow's agenda?
That's a motion to bring it to the full board to discuss the survey.
Motion.
All
right, so right, colleague, thank you. Do I hear a second to the motion to that?
Second.
Okay, there's a second, and thank you, Teacher Rep, Ms. Val. Call the vote for recordation, please.
Laura B. Mura, Antonio Borja,
Again.
Andrew Albertson.
Again.
Mr. Chairman, all members voting.
All right, thank you, Ms. Val, for that. So this item will now, number 13, the survey to the principals will be forwarded for the full board's consideration at tomorrow's special meeting, no? Okay. Number 14, this is the CNMI long-term resident employment authorization document, EAD. I just want to make certain in our committee that there was a public comment provided on February 6th. However, it surpassed the so-called public comment period. But I would like to, as a committee, would like to accept that in terms of a public comment, but also to address where this matter is at as far as the people that are within the PSS system as of today. So Commissioner, would you like to?
Go ahead.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner, and thank you, FPA Chair, members of the FPA Committee. We present to you today a brief summary of our current situation at hand due to a recent USCIS interim final rule that is going to impact many, has impacted and will be impacting close to 37 employees in the public school system. Over the years, the Human Resources Office continued to verify using the verification form from USCIS, Form I-9, which is eligibility of authorization to work in the United States. We maintain and keep close monitoring of these EADs. Unfortunately, with the interim final rule that was passed last October, there is no automatic extension for any EAD card that expires beyond their expiration date. In previous years, when an employee's EAD card expires, they have 6 months processing time period to submit their application form to be reviewed. What we're experiencing right now, or most employees that are affected are experiencing, is they applied timely before the 6 months, within the 180-day requirement. But because there's a transition in the National Benefits Center under USCIS, there's a new system in place where the CNM from different jurisdictions, there used to be a processing area. Unfortunately, now it goes into a main hub under the National Benefits Center. It's going beyond the 6 months processing period, which in most cases are exceeding the expiration dates of the employee's EAD card. With this final rule, when an employee's EAD card expires, we must stop work order for these employees, even if they provide receipts. In previous years, we provide receipts and we allow that extension for that 540 days to be on board, and oftentimes they get it timely. But recently, even some applying since last year, May, July, and expired this last January, were not granted. There's no extension granted, so I had to issue a stop order. And I've been working closely with legal counsel to ensure to review the documents prior to issuing a stop order. So what I looked into, and since it's in the news, I reached out to the Office of Congresswoman Kimberly King Hines because they are providing assistance to those who are impacted regarding the EAD C37 category. And what they can do is, if the employee is impacted, they can reach out to them when their 6 months grace period or application period is expiring, and that they will see what they can do to assist. But there is authorization full disclosure form that they have to complete first, and then they can try to assist in helping move these processing of documentation. So what's at hand at the moment is for the there are 4 total that were impacted out of the 37. 3, we issued a stop work order. 1, we did not issue because of a court order that granted temporary extension. And so it's part of the summary that I provided. So we're working closely with that individual to provide an update. But in the meantime, based on the information received is that when their card is not valid, they must stop work. It's very unfortunate. And the next step is on our end is to figure out if we will hold these positions and when they obtain the card, that we rehire them, bring them back in those positions, right? That's what we need to discuss here.
Member, you're done, Ms. HR Director. Any questions to our HR Director, members, anyone? If not, again, and thank you, Director, for bringing this. I think that, my concern here, because you mentioned 37 individuals in the system is affected by this. Where are the others as far as, are they still continuing their work
So
or?
their expiration date vary. Over the next few months, we have close to 22 up until September. The rest are still valid up until 2027. But for this year, we have close to 22 that we will be expecting if they don't get the renewed EAD card.
So let me ask again on that numbers that we're saying or looking at, where are we as far as are these teacher positions? How many teachers are we looking at?
So recently, the three were teachers. We have 11 more teachers in the remaining 22.
That's what I'm saying. Teachers, no? Wow. It's
I'm sorry, if I may, we're gonna balance those individual teachers against the analysis that we're doing when it comes to enrollment. And trying to also right-size the staffing of our schools based on enrollment and the entire district. So.
I just don't want to put a blame game on these individuals. It's, it's not beyond them, right? That's the law, and I know. But my thinking here now is there anything that the PSS needs to do? I mean, as far as the regulation, I assume that this thing with the DA is more takes precedence over our current system, right? In terms of HR, as far as removing and ceasing people from working, am I correct? So that I think we need to really be mindful. I know that even with just the current early Head Start issue of shortage of manpower now that there's attrition going on there. And then with this number, some of them are with Head Start as far as the people?
One of the three that was impacted was
From Head Start? Wow, okay. Yeah, I just wanted, Teacher, you have your hand up, yeah.
Yes, just a question. So the legal counsel you're referencing is TB, correct? Okay, and then, so he advised that the final rule is a law.
No, this is coming directly from USCIS. The final rule is there and then we must abide by this one. If we continue to employ anyone with an invalid EAD, we are violating law.
The USCIS is telling us.
It's there.
Well, is Stevie on the call?
Is he
If we can just add maybe some information.
Yes, I'm here.
on it, so that way I'm top covered too, because I'm gonna make sure we're doing what we can. And then also, Stevie, if you can just write to the board what all this means to them, so that they can then, allow us to continue to do what we're doing. Because we're just doing what, again, is the law, and we did seek advice from Stevie. Go ahead, Tim.
Council McCallum, you have the floor, and we'll recognize you.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I think Lucretia did an excellent job laying down the playing field. The guidance I found online said that without a valid EAD card, doesn't matter whether it was submitted for reauthorization, but a presently not valid EAD card prohibits them from continuing to work for in the United States. So that was my understanding, and then it was also confirmed by USCIS. So there's no discretion on our part to allow for anybody to continue working until they receive a fully authorized EAD card that's valid and hasn't expired.
Council, if I may, so there's no exception to the rule of, for education. I mean, I'm thinking that, what, HR director mentioned, that there are several of them that are teachers, so, we're in line with teachers around here that we need, so where do we go with that as far as, the organization that we have?
There's no exceptions whatsoever.
Exception,
This is-
no?
No, there's no wiggle room. It's just very clear now that we cannot, unlike previous years where submission for renewal was sufficient while the renewal was processing, the rule has simply changed that you need a valid one in hand, regardless of whether you've applied for a renewal or not. And without a valid one in hand, you cannot continue to be employed.
Stop on that, Council, yeah. Thank you for that, Council. So, maybe in line with the matter, HR Director, if you could, keep the committee abreast of what, the transfer, things that are happening right now and with the individuals and letting us know where we stand as far as these individuals are concerned within the system, if that's okay. Any other questions, members? Colleague Toram, you have any question? It's open right now, okay?
No question.
All right, okay, thank you so much. So thank you, Director, for that information, and Council, thank you again. The last item, number 15, and these are so-called board resolutions. Members, you have a copy in front of you of this resolutions that we are going to discuss, or have they been provided the notes? For who?
Clearance.
I'm sorry, I just think that they should be provided since our meeting. Anyways, the two resolutions before us, letters A and B, the letter A, officer eligibility during initial services for new board members. The resolution itself is addressing to provide stability and foundation for the board now and moving forward. So this resolution number A is asking that any newly elected board members, cannot serve as chair or vice chair of the board during that first year of them. And that's in order to keep mindfulness that members like that are just still not in tune with the processes that is required of them as far as serving as a board member. And I think that this is very crucial because of what we already experienced in this concept of a board member not knowing the do's and don'ts. So even myself, when I first came in back in 2019, I kind of like wet my feet to know what exactly is going on. But then in 2020, man, I'm a new kid in the block. I'm throwing around all my skateboards and everything. So this is something that we need to consider. And I think it should be policy within the board. This is for the board's sake, no?
So Chairman, I do recall you sending an email for the staff to print it out. So I think at the last FPA, it was handed out.
Oh, it was handed out? Okay,
Yes.
okay.
That was the other first two under unfinished business.
They're all together. All of them. But I'm gonna send the.
Okay, yeah, please. And letter B, the other board resolution, this is regarding the current present staff of the board right now. And I want to make it clear that this resolution is calling for not just the chairman of the board, but the full board to determine in renewing our individual staff based on evaluation and performance. This is where we need to be very clear, because in the past, it's always been just the chairman. And who the heck is the chairman? When how the chairman became a chairman is through the full board. So I think it's very founding that we should just have the full board be involved, since each of the staff do represent and serve each board member. And I want to be clear of that. So this will give a little bit, what do you call this? Security, so to speak, for our staffing members here, as far as dealing with the day-to-day board function of what the board expects from the staff. So I would like to move that this particular resolution be very clear in having this in effect for our staff members, so that in future, even our current board chairperson cannot just outright just determine a particular staff, their so-called standing with the board office. It should be the full board, and then I believe that's including our legal counsel as well. Because our legal counsel is really our part of our board staff, so I like to move that this contract or resolution be put forth, so the board and future boards can be attained to follow and enforce this resolution. So these are two resolutions that I look to think that is very important to have within the board office. Any questions, members? Colleague Toram, you have any question to this?
No question.
Question, okay. So I kindly request that I think we like to kind of like move this forward for the full board's consideration at tomorrow's board meeting. And I'd like to hear a motion, except of course teacher have just stepped out. Yeah.
A motion to bring this up to the full board for consideration.
All right, colleague Rice, thank you for that. Teacher, I can second, you sure? On behalf of teacher rep, all right?
Just in your.
Oh, there's teacher rep. Teacher rep, there's a motion to approve the two resolutions as presented and for tomorrow's full board consideration.
Okay, a second.
Second, okay, thank you so much. There's a second, Ms. Val. Motion to look to approve and move forward for the full board for tomorrow. I'd like to call for a vote on that.
Antonio L. Borja,
Good.
Dora Benura,
Then
Andrew L. Orsi.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, all members voted yes.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Val, to that. And that now concludes all our items that we addressed as a committee. Colleagues, do you have anything you want to discuss in executive, which maybe I'd like to probably talk with colleagues, the members of the committee, privately? Regarding a personal matter that has been presented to us and is still right now ongoing. Is that possible? Okay.
I state sign the vote. How long you've been?
Oh, not too long. This is at 10:26 at this time for executive, if I may. Can I hear a motion to go into executive if possible?
all right, I move to go into executive session.
Thank you, teacher. The motion to second.
Second.
All right, colleague. Thank you, Ms. Val. Can you please go for the vote?
Antonio L. Borja.
Okay.
Dora Benura,
I'm done.
Andrew L. Orsi.
Again.
Mr. Chairman, all members voted yes.
All right.
How long, please?
Yeah, maybe 10, 15 minutes at the most. Yeah, not too long. So if I may, can I ask the request of Commissioner and maybe the associate and HR Director, I'd like you to stay back on this one. And everybody else, if I may ask, kindly that